other sutras also. So Bhagavat means the one who follows the teachings of the Bhagavan, means one who is cultivating wisdom, one who is trying to see the world as it is. Okay, so this is the song. If you understand this song, you take home the message that I will do my duty. I will do my duty without any attachment to the result. It doesn't mean you don't expect a result. It means I will not fantasize the outcome of my action before the action is done. Okay, I will not dream. I might manifest my dreams through action. By sitting and only dreaming, you will never be able to manifest any of your dreams. So set out in this life with a dream, with something that you want to achieve. Engage all your senses, have self-control, get your mind to be stable so that the acts will be good, and then act. Act so that you can fulfill what you have set out for. And that's the journey of that Bhagavad Gita teaches us. Namaste and good morning to everyone. We are here on a Sunday morning to continue our study on the 84 verses of the Bhagavad Gita. Very interestingly, we finished the 42 verses yesterday, and we're going to continue the next 42 verses today. Yeah, so yesterday we finished the 42nd verse. That was so can you go on the slide? Yeah. So we finished the 42nd verse on when your intellect, which is puzzled by the Shruti, Veda text, you have heard, will become fixed and immovable in Samadhi. You shall attain this yoga. So if you see, to summarize, yesterday we studied how Krishna was guiding Arjuna in the war scene that we saw, that between the two armies, Krishna and Arjuna were having a conversation. This is exactly what life is. When we are dealing with the good and the bad and we have emotions taking over us, we need to have a conversation with ourselves to analyze. And for that conversation, you need to have something that you need to understand. And that understanding is what Krishna is offering to Arjuna, telling him that the results of your action are not in your hand, but it is your part to do the duty that you are supposed to be doing, that you have been assigned with. And he was a warrior and he had to fight his righteous war, the war to establish Dharma back, because there was a lot of injustice done by his own people to him and his family, and he had to fight back. And this spirit of fighting back is the survival spirit that we all should actually inculcate within us. Many a times, these emotions, these situations, circumstances in life, they actually can weaken us. And this is where this particular teaching of the Bhagavad Gita becomes an empowering tool, becomes a weapon that we can use to fight the conflicts that happen within us. The world outside can be won easily if you can win yourself within. And that's exactly what Krishna was doing with Arjuna to help him to win over himself, the confusion that he had. And so we studied the Samkhya Yoga, the concept where he made Arjuna understand that when you're killing your own people, don't think that you're killing them because that's the only body that is dying. But technically there is nobody dying, because everybody is basically a part of the whole supreme consciousness that is common within all of us. So there is no person as such that is killed. The body is definitely disintegrating by killing, but the person doesn't die. So don't think and don't take that claim over you. Then when he understands this, then he also taught about the yoga, where he is teaching how when you start something, that's the real yoga. And the yoga is to unite these two things, the one that you start with the one that you want to end with. And that's exactly is setting your goals and completing your goals. The journey, when that whole process is to have a union between your set goals and your final destination, right? So when you start, only then can you reach, Remember the famous saying of, I think it was Neil Armstrong who said, the first step of man on moon was, he said that a great, milestone for mankind. That's exactly what it is. So when you take the first step towards your goal, you have already started your journey of success. So remember this, that is the teaching of Bhagavad Gita. Let's take verse number 43, because we're going to do 43 to 84, and that's all from Krishna to Arjuna, and then he sends him back to war. So verse number 43, correct? Yeah. He whose mind is not distressed in adversities, who does not hanker after pleasures, and is free from passion, fear, and anger, is called a Muni, that is a sage of steady wisdom. So he's defining the word Muni. If you remember, this word Muni is also symbolic of Buddha, where he is called as the Shakyamuni. Muni means somebody who has steady wisdom. The wisdom doesn't change. See, intelligence can change as per the knowledge that you have, but wisdom remains always there, constant, it doesn't change. Wisdom can actually modify itself according to situation. The basic principles, they should be the basis on your wisdom. They should be adaptable, okay? But intellect can change a little bit here and there based on what it is, how you are upgraded, what knowledge you have. On that basis, your intelligence can go up. IQ can move up the ladder. Emotions can change. But your spiritual quotient, your wisdom, that remains always steady and constant. For the one who can do that is a Muni. And Buddha was one, that is why he was called the Shakyamuni. Here it is said, what is that steady state? He whose mind is not distressed in adversities. We are going to have problems, adverse problems, difficult times. And our mind, when it is not distressed in these situations, that is the first sign that we are almost coming to the state of a steady mind. And that's exactly when you practice Shunya, you see, what do? We make sure that the mind is steady. Even all the distress that you are having, you're scratching, your pain, you're getting bored, whatever it is, you endure all that. Then second is, who does not hanker after pleasures, who even does not go after pleasures. They seek pleasures, I want this, I want that. And this desire of wanting something and being engaged with the pleasure itself can be an hindrance. So who is free from that? So free from passion, fear, and anger. He is completely fear. Now, when I say free from passion, doesn't mean he does not have passion. It means that passion never overtakes him, doesn't rule over him. When I say fear, it doesn't mean that he cannot cause fear in others. He can definitely cause fear in others. See, Arjuna was a fear himself. When he stood there with his Gandiva bow, the opposite party, the Kauravas, they were already in fear. So fear they can instill, but he should be fearless too. Okay, passion you should have, but passion should not drive you through. And finally, anger. It is not, doesn't mean that anger is something that you should not have. It is when you apply that anger in something good, in that energy that you have. So nothing is negative here. How do you apply and what result you get out of it? Getting angry on your own situation, that your family is suffering, you have financial problems, and you sitting there and not getting angry and just waiting for yourself, the world around getting angry at you and you're ignoring them. That is foolishness. Anger should be born with your own self, that why am I sitting here when I can actually get out and work? That anger should be the driving force through which you can actually transform your life. So here, one who is steady is in wisdom is said to be a Muni, and we all can become that. Remember this, through the practice of Shunya, you are able to steady the mind. The still mind is the state of Shunya. Verse 44, he who is without attachment on any side and who feels no exhalation or what is that? Exaltation, who feels no exaltation or aversion about the agreeable or disagreeable. His wisdom is firmly fixed. Now, defining what is wisdom being firmly fixed. You see, who is without attachment to any side. You don't get fixed to one side. If you get fixed, finish. Because you are mobile, you are able to adjust according to circumstances. You are like the water that flows from the mountains down to the sea. It does not have a fixed path. Okay. The beauty of that water, the river, is it finds its journey through all the problems, all the stones, all the cliffs, all the cities, and goes finally to meet the sea. This is exactly what you should realize, that our attachment to any one side is not going to give us a steady mind. It is going to actually be more disturbing. And who does not feel exaltation, means excited, or aversion, does not want, basically not having preferences. I don't like this, I like this. One who is like this will never be free. And here it is saying that something that you're agreeable or disagreeable, if you're in that state, then your wisdom is not firmly fixed. But if you are actually able to analyze the situation as it is, based on the circumstances, and on that basis take a decision. Maybe today's decision is exactly opposite of yesterday's decision, but today's decision is based on today's circumstances. A child, 5-year-old, wants to go out to play. The father says, no, don't go out. You cannot go out. And the child crying, go, please, please let me go. The mother says, no, you cannot go. She has an elder sister who is, say, 20 years old, and she is telling, Mama, I am going out to play. Yeah, you go. The little child, 5-year-old, asking the mother, you allow her to go and you don't allow me to go. Now, is the mother doing injustice? No. She's using her common sense, wisdom, to say that the adult has the ability to take care of herself and she can go out. And the younger one, who is still 5, does not have the ability to take care of herself. Hence, she will not go out. So, wisdom is based on your situation, circumstances, taking a decision. Decision cannot be fixed. Then we go to verse 45. When a person is able to withdraw his senses and sense objects, as the tortoise withdraws its limbs, his wisdom becomes steady. So here they are giving an example of a tortoise. Okay, a tortoise, when it senses something not comfortable, it withdraws its limb and goes into a protective shell. Exactly, the one who is able to withdraw his senses and sense objects when needed, when they are getting distracted, disturbed, we call it the wisdom is steady. Verse 46, because, O son of Kunti, these roaming senses forcibly carry away the mind of even the intelligent Purusha in an improper direction, though he is striving for controlling the senses. You know why they are saying? Because these sensual pleasures or, disturbances, they are like forces. They can carry even the intelligence to some other direction. You can find those people who are addicted. You will realize they are intelligent, but they have lost the intelligence, gone somewhere else, So, we can know that this intelligent Purusha is also carried away when they do not have self-control. Self-control means control on their senses. They can go to an improper direction. Okay, though he is striving, he is working hard, but he cannot be helped because he is not having self-control. He has intelligence. He knows drinking alcohol is going to harm my liver. He knows that. He knows smoking is going to cause me cancer for my lungs. He knows that. He is intelligent. You don't need to give him intelligence. You don't need to give him any proof. He knows that. But because he does not have sense control, the desire, when it comes, he just lights up a cigarette or just opens up a bottle. He continues his journey of suffering. Okay. Going to verse 47. But the self-controlled person who moves among the object of sense with the senses under control and free from attachment and aversion attains peace. You see here beautifully, how do you attain peace? In all the situations, when a self-controlled person who moves among the objects of senses, is not that get out of the object of senses. You have to go in all the pleasure. If it's like in the world of pleasure, to not get affected by pleasure. It's like going into a bar, okay, being there, but not having a drink. That's what we call self-control. That's called sensual control. Not going to the bar is a different story. because there is no way you are interacting with senses. But going there and not doing it is control. So when such a person is able to control that, he is free from attachment and aversion, because he doesn't have to say I want or doesn't say I don't want. He knows I don't want to do this. He knows this is going to disturb me. He is going to be wise enough to take a decision. Same person, who's saying no to the alcohol there in the bar, maybe when he's in the hospital, they're giving him a medicine that is alcohol based. He will drink that. That's a wise person. So, who attains peace? Who can live in the sensual world without actually losing control on the senses. Verse 48, when the mind is serene, all his sorrow, dukkha, is destroyed, and prasanna chetasa, happiness arises. The intellect soon becomes steady. When the mind is serene. So, how do you get the intellect to become steady? The answer lies when the mind is serene, when the mind is at peace, like we do in Shunya. First, get the mind in order. Forget the intellect, forget everything else in the body. First, let's practice Shunya, get a 9 to 0, get all those things. If you can get the mind to steady, whatever the mind is attached to will automatically steady itself. Okay, so here, when the mind is serene, all his sorrow, dukkha, is destroyed. And prasanna chetasa, happiness arises. So, where does happiness arise from? By the destruction of sorrow. Where does happiness come from? From the destruction of all kind of suffering. And that is possible when you can get the mind to experience serenity, peace. 49. The person who is not yukta, that is, who has not become yoga yukta, as mentioned above, has no singleness of purpose. The one who is not yukta has no power to bring things about. And he who does not bring things about knows no serenity. And how can a man without serenity know happiness? Means if you cannot even experience peace, there's no way you're going to experience happiness, because happiness is a state where the mind is serene. What is the state of mind being serene? When all the dukkha is gone. So, when can you achieve that happiness? It is said that who is not yukta has no singleness of purpose. Being focused, very clear on your focus on the journey that you're going on. When you're doing something, doing that 100%, not getting distracted, is being yukta. So, if you're able to do that with singleness of purpose, not multipleness of purpose, your purpose should be very, very clear. If you have set a target, that is the goal, then whatever happens, do not get distracted. Do not get distracted with pleasures. Do not get distracted with all the aversions. Don't say yes to things. Don't say no to things. Just head on straight. As Dr. Lim says, when he started promoting DXN long time back, he said, if you want to be successful in DXN, what do? You don't look to the left. You don't look to the right. Walk straight into DXN. That's exactly the words they come from here. Then you see, the one who is not yukta has no power to bring about things. So, one who is not able to even focus, not even able to have single pointedness, do you think he's able to bring about anything? No. So, we give this kind of training in Shunya to all the practitioners. We tell them, you sit, you do 9 to 0. That's your goal. Can you do that? It's a small step. If you are able to do this one step, we will put you on to the next step, 29 to 0. Can you do that? Oh, no, my mind is disturbing. No, first finish that. When I train my mind to achieve the goal I set out for, I am able to bring that single pointedness of the mind. I'm able to accomplish something. If I'm able to accomplish 29 to 0, 99 to 0 and the different levels, I've already trained my mind to be able to complete all the acts that it sets out for. That's exactly what it is. Imagine you're shooting an arrow and your arrow is shot and halfway down it says, no, I don't want to go. Finish. The archer is useless then, right? Imagine he's shooting arrows but halfway down it doesn't go. When the actually arrow is left, it should hit the target. Then only the purpose of that arrow is met. So let's go to verse 50. When the mind runs after the wandering senses, It carries away the understanding, just as the wind carries away a boat on the waters. Beautiful. Now, you see the water where there is a boat which is unmanned. Okay, there is no man in it. Imagine. Wherever the water is going to flow, the boat is going to flow. Okay, this is exactly how a person who does not have control on his senses is like his boat is flowing in the world of the senses. Wherever the senses are going to go, his mind is going to go. And this is like the mind runs after the wandering senses. It carries away the understanding. The wisdom is gone with that because there is no single pointedness. Just as the wind carries away the boat on the waters. Wherever the boat is going to go is going to be because the wind is going to blow there. The water current is going to take there. Similarly, if we do not have self-control, our mind will wander, run around things here and there. We will never be able to accomplish what we want to. That is why in a class of 100 children, only 1 or 2 get 100 out of 100 marks or are toppers in the class. Why can't the same teacher, the same subject, everything same? The school also same, all the facilities are same, yet only 1 or 2% of them they achieve the amazing feat of being the top in the class. Why can't all of them top the class? Not possible, because everybody's mind is not able to be single pointed. Okay, so understand this. If we are not scoring well, even in our, as a student, if you are not able to be the best as an employee, if you are not able to get the best profit out of your business, somewhere your mind is wandering, somewhere it is not having self-control. Find out and you'll know what it is. Exactly like what Arjuna is having. The greatest warrior is on his knees now and doesn't want to fight. He's given up. Can you imagine? So this is exactly the situation that we can go through. Verse 51. Therefore, O mighty armed, he whose senses are completely restrained from sense objects, his knowledge is firmly set. You don't need to set your knowledge firm in something. You just need to have self-control on your senses. That's it. One who has control on his senses, his knowledge is firmly set. How simple it is, you know. If you can manage your horses, your chariot will never go off track. That's it. Exactly like that. If you can know how to swim, you don't need to worry that you will be drowning. You need to know how to manage yourself, and your self-managing means your senses, managing your senses. Your senses are basically like the 5 horses. Okay, if you don't tie them in the simple rein that you can hold, okay, and you don't drive them together, then they all 5 will move in all 5 directions and they will destroy your chariot. And you see majority of the people, they have no self-control. Their temptation drives them, their desires drives them, their needs drive them. Okay, their circumstances drive them. They don't drive. Okay, now when I say this, it is meaning like I'm in the car, but I'm not putting any effort to drive the car. I leave the steering wheel. I only put my pedal on my feet on my accelerator and just sit and watch. The car is going to go wherever the slope is. It's going to go here, there, everywhere. It will keep on destroying relationships. It will destroy people. It will harm. Exactly like an uncontrolled car. A person who does not have control on his senses behaves. And Arjuna was behaving like that. So Krishna is reminding him, hey Arjuna, don't be like that. Don't lose your self-control. What are you doing? You are here warrior. You should be doing and fighting for in the war. And you're suddenly leaving the whole essence. You're leaving the bow and arrow and you're on your knees begging that you don't want to fight and all those emotional drama. Verse 52. What is night for all beings is the time of waking for the one disciplined in yoga. And what is time for waking for all beings is the night for him. You see what they're talking about, the discipline in yoga. What is discipline in yoga? While what is night for all beings means maybe somebody is thinking it is time to rest, everything over. This person is waking up and working. He's working hard, making sure that he accomplishes. That means putting in effort. Where others are resting, this guy is putting his effort. This is yoga. On the other side, when others are, what time is waking for the all beings is night for him. While others are waking up, when they wake up, the others, what they do is they engage in their sensual gratification. They enjoy here, party, bitty. At this time, this guy is sleeping, resting. So he exactly works little opposite of the world, That is why he works opposite of suffering and hence achieves the ultimate thing, a state of no suffering, So you should understand, when somebody is sleeping, when you're working, you're doing yoga. When somebody is awake and enjoying at that time sleeping, is definitely taking rest for your body, is yoga. So not getting carried away with situations and circumstances is yoga. He attains peace, into whom all desires enter as water enters the ocean, filling from all sides yet remaining unmoved, but not kamkami, the man who hankers after objects of their senses. Here kamkami in Hindi or in Sanskrit means the one who is after kama, means desire. He is only running after the senses. Okay, so he who attains peace, into whom all desires, okay, becomes like the waters that enter the ocean. Means all the desires come to him, it just enters into him as a rivers enter into the ocean. No differentiation. From any side, from the ears, from the eyes, from the nose, all the sensual gratification that comes, when it comes to him, they absolutely become him. No way he is affected by them. This is called yoga actually. This is a very, very strong definition of yoga. Feeling from all sides yet remaining unmoved. So somebody saying something, go inside, no effect. Somebody, he can see something, no effect. Not affected by what is happening. Now Krishna, you see Arjuna is affected when he sees his great grandfather, his teacher, his brother. He is affected. So he is not in yoga. He is not practiced yoga. He is, even though he is having all the potential of being the greatest warrior, and Krishna calls him the mighty armed one, the one who puts fear into the opposite army, he calls him that. Then yet he knows that because he is not able to manage himself, he is having no sense control and his mind is not at peace, he is actually becoming weak. Verse 54, Arjuna said, now after all this whacking from Krishna, Arjuna had to say something. Oh Janardana, if you consider that knowledge is superior to action, oh Keshava, why then do you urge me to engage in this terrible action, the warfare? Now he is trying to question Krishna. You are telling me you should have knowledge, this is that and all those, and you are telling knowledge is superior, okay, to action. Then, Keshava, why are you urging me to engage in this war? Why are you telling me? I have the knowledge that all this is, there is nobody out there. Why to destroy? I cannot destroy anybody. You're giving all the knowledge to me and then you're only telling me to go and do that. To this, now Krishna is going to reply. With quite contradictory words. Now here Arjuna continues. With quite contradictory words, you seem to be confusing my understanding. Now Arjuna is arguing with Krishna, saying, because you're using contradictory words. One way you're saying do, the other is saying even if you're doing nothing. You don't expect, you be focused to a goal. Then he's saying don't expect that your goal will be fulfilled. You are contradicting all this. You are confusing me and my understanding. Therefore tell me definitely which is the course by which I will attain the supreme good. He's saying, please explain me one definite way in which I will be able to follow that course and achieve the ultimate good. Because everybody wants to do good, right? That's what we do acts for. Because the acts are nothing but it's the mental state of goodness, the feeling of goodness, the thoughts of goodness that we want to manifest. So he's asking, please tell me, how do I achieve supreme good? Which course should I follow? Give me one. Krishna said, Oh Arjuna, as I have said before, there are two paths in this world. The path of knowledge is that of Samkhyas, and the path of action is that of yogins, practitioners of yoga. Okay, so again, to summarize, Krishna is reminding him, I told you that in this world there are two paths through which you should be able to do your duty. Okay, one is the path of knowledge of the Sankhyas, that there are two things, there are components, there is Prakriti and Purush, there is Rupa and there is Shunyata, there is manifestation and there is unmanifestation. There is, kinetic energy, there is a latent energy. Everything is interlinked. They are, even though they work two separately, they are one and the same. They are one supreme consciousness. So the path of action is that of yogins, and when it comes to action, it has to be yogins. It means through the path of yoga. Yoga means union. You see, the journey of the arrow and the target is only complete when the arrow hits the target. That's when the action is done. If it doesn't hit the target, it's a useless action. It's like I am a farmer, I'm taking the seeds and sowing in the soil, and none of the seeds are coming and growing. I'm not farmer anymore because not a single crop has grown. Even if I try lifetime, if I don't produce a crop, I'm not in any way going to call myself a farmer. I sit in a car, okay, I do not means drive it. I just sit there. I'm not a driver. I'm just a player of it. So here it is saying that yogins means what you set out for, you achieve that. That is yogins. Okay. So two paths that Krishna is telling. The one is the knowledge of the Samkhyas and the path of the yogins. Verse 57. By non-performance of actions, a man does not attain actionlessness. Very, very important. Nor does he attain siddhim, success, by giving up actions. Okay, 2 points. 1. So by non-performance of action, not doing anything. You think you're doing nothing, but doing nothing is also doing something. Lying there doing nothing is just being lethargic, being, you can say, sluggish, being dull, being dumb. You are becoming that. You're doing that. Doing nothing means you're lying idle. Lying idle, you will lose everything. Definitely you will lose. I am a great champion in a particular sport, but I stopped playing the sport. You trust me, after some time you cannot play it because you are doing nothing. Okay. So by non-performance of action, a man does not attain actionlessness. When you do not perform action, you don't think that you're not doing any action. You are actually doing a non-action. Nor does he attain siddhi by giving up actions. Even success doesn't come when you give up your actions. That means success comes only when you act. So by giving up your actions, you cannot be successful. Arjuna is giving up the bow and arrow and saying he doesn't want to fight. Do you think he's successful? No, immediately he's called a failure. And Krishna as a friend doesn't want his friend to fail. So he's reminding him, because no one can remain even for a moment without performing some form of action. Nobody can remain even for a moment without performing some form of action. The gunas of Prakriti compel every person to helplessly perform action. If you don't do, something will do to you. Very simple. You think you are doing it. Okay, that's good. You can control it. But if you don't control it, something else will do things to you. Remember this. So here he is saying that you don't want to do this. You are wrong, because by not doing this, you are doing something which is much more horrible. Now, Prakriti and Gunas, they are definitely going to act through you, and you are going to be doing the actionlessness. Okay, this actionlessness is basically where more problems can come in. So here Krishna is reminding us that nobody can achieve success by just staying out of that act. You can only be successful by actually acting in it. You cannot say, I leave it to destiny, I leave it to God, I leave it to time, and let that decide, let fate decide. No, you have to take control. First, self-control on your senses so that you don't go here and there. Do not sway with time. Do not sway with circumstances, with emotions. But on the other hand, you drive yourself through all that with complete awareness so that you can achieve the target that you are set out for. Verse 59, he who merely controls the faculties of action but keeps continually thinking of the objects of the senses in his mind is called a mithyachara, a self-deceiving hypocrite. This is a very important sentence, He's talking about a person who's mithyachara, means he's living in a false world. He's a hypocrite. He's cheating himself. That is why in Shunya, when we say you practice 9 to 0, 29 to 0, 99 to 0, if you cheat yourself, you tell I finished and I was able to do. Who are you cheating? You're cheating yourself. If you cheat yourself, you're a self-deceiving hypocrite. And who is going to suffer? Not others whom you're telling, yourself. So he who merely controls the faculties of action, but keeps continually thinking of the objects of senses in his mind, such a person is called a mithyachara. Means you're thinking that you're controlling the action, but in your mind you're already thinking of the objects of the senses. Like that's exactly what Krishna is trying to say, that you are supposed to now fight the war. Suddenly you're thinking, he's my grandfather, he's my teacher, he's my this thing, when I kill them, what will happen, how much sin. Why are you thinking all this? Who told you to think all this? You're already thinking about senses, You're already thinking the mind is already going astray. Finish. You are becoming weak. Many people, they already, when they set out a goal, I want to earn, they get a good job. They suddenly think, oh, I've got a good package. Now I'm going to build a house, I'm going to have blah, blah. The first or second month in the job, they're already dreaming about all the things they want after 2 years. Maybe the third month, he's not performing, he'll be whacked out and he will lose the job. Then all the dreams and desires finish. But if he would have performed his job, understanding that he was given a good job, a good opportunity, given 100% at the job, month by month, he would have gone. What he was expecting would happen after 2 years, I think that would be much more magical than that, because he would have progressed much beyond his current understanding of himself. Because with time, we all, with right effort and single-pointedness, progress. That is why even in the extent when we say that you should be focused on what you want to achieve, but then continue your small journey. Then as a distributor, you go to one step, finish that, then go to another step, finish that, third step, fourth step. Ultimate goal is there, but step by step, you need to accomplish this by action every day, not 3 months from now, 6 months from now. So many a times people say, sir, we now plan from 6 months from now, we want to become this. I know they already are being driven by their senses into a false imagination. They are already thinking about the fruits before the tree has even grown. We know it is not going to work. So we just smile at them. Okay, go ahead and do it. But somebody says, today I did this. We are sure that that person is about to transform his life, because he is doing it in the now and he knows to live in the now, not in the future. So Krishna is reminding Arjuna this very fact that you have to work in the present. Don't think about the future results. Verse 60. But he who controls the senses by the mind, O Arjuna, and engages his action faculties in the discipline of action without attachment is superior. Here comes the essence of Bhagavad Gita, that you should be able to control the senses by the mind. The mind has to be the controller of your senses. And if one who can do that, he is able to actually, engage his action faculties in the discipline of action without attachment, without expectation. Without expectation means getting attached to the final product. Just sets the product destination and then works his way towards it. Okay, this is superior. 61 verse. This perform action which you are obliged to do, or which is nityam, obligatory. No, niyatam. Perform action which you are obliged to do, or which is niyatam, obligatory. So there are some actions which we are obliged, as it comes as an obligation, because we are either in a position, like Arjuna was in a position as a warrior. See, he was obliged. He had to do his duty. A doctor who is stationed in a hospital in the emergency ward, she's obliged to treat anybody who knocks the door. Okay, so please understand that Sometimes our actions are based on obligation because the roles we play. Second, which is niyatam, obligatory, which comes as niyati. I become a father, I have a kid, okay, my kid is suffering from a condition. I still have to perform a duty as a father. I cannot forego or leave my child. Whatever it is, yeah, either it is because of niyati, that is obligatory, or because of a role and responsibility that I have been given, which becomes an obligation. Such a action that we are performing. For action is superior to inaction. Doing something is better than not doing. Remember this. Moreover, if you do not perform action, even your body will not be maintained. You don't do anything, even your body will go away. It will get destroyed. You want to not eat any wrong food, you do not want to exercise, nothing. What will happen to your body? It will still be suffering. You need to act on your body, keep your body engaged in some kind of act. With this action, your body is sustained. So similarly, even the body, if you have to maintain, you have to act. Okay, so even the mind, if you want to maintain, you need to act. Even your senses, if you need to maintain them, you need to act. It's only through action of all together, yoga, union, as one team, you will be able to deliver superior quality product or results. This world is bound by actions. Krishna is reminding in verse 62 that this world is bound by actions. Other than those performed for the sake of yajna, that is sacrifice or rituals, therefore, O son of Kunti, Arjuna, perform action for that sake. Mukta Sangha, freedom from bondage. If you want to be free from all the bondages, you will have to perform action. Because this world is bound by action. This world is what we call karma phala. It's the whatever karma we have done, this is the outcome of this. And the only way out of this is through karma again. So doing actions is only going to be the way through which you're going to get out of it. Other than those performed for sake of yajna, sacrifice or rituals. Other than those performed for yajna or sacrifice or rituals. Verse 63. He who does not keep rolling the wheel that has been set in motion, indulging his senses in a lifespan of evil, lives for nothing, O Parth. Now he's telling him, one who does not keep on rolling the wheel that has been set in motion, indulging his senses in lifespan of evil. What is evil? Remember, we said an uncontrolled mind is evil. A controlled mind is not evil. We learned that in MAS also. When the mind is stable, there is peace. When the mind is unstable, there is suffering. Okay, so here is saying one who is not able to move the wheel or set the wheel of motion, then such a person is indulging in his senses in a lifespan of evil, of suffering. That means lives for nothing. He lives for nothing. You see, the one who is suffering, is he living for anything? Do you think he has any purpose? No. Because he has no purpose, he has nothing to live for. And such a person, usually, what he does, in many a times, like what Arjuna is going through, suddenly wants to give up everything. Maybe if he was in today's time and he had no Krishna to guide him, I'm sure he would have jumped up or cut his wrist or hung himself up because of the kind of suffering that he was going through. Luckily, Krishna as a friend was guiding him. Similarly, in our lives, we have to be friends to many people around us. Use the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, which reminds us that all that is happening, the suffering is just an illusion of a person who is basically not able to control his senses. So, now when we were small kids, we had this small game. We used to take the old tires and we used to play with the tires, When you don't push the tire stops or it falls. So, even goodness needs to be pushed along. You need to rotate the wheel of goodness. And that can happen only and only through action. Remember, when you are driving your car, you need to be aware how you're driving the car. If you're not aware, the road, the slope, that's going to drive the car and that will be very dangerous. So, take control on your actions, okay, so that the situations don't take control on you. Many a time, life situations, circumstances, they take major control on you, and you're driven by that emotion, your situations, your circumstances, and we do things according to situations and circumstances. But actually, you should be the one who's taking control of that and should be able to navigate through yourself. Okay. Verse 64. On the other hand, an individual who delights in the self, is satisfied with the self, is completely content with the self alone, has nothing left to do, he finishes his work. One who is engaged in the self, okay, he delights in the self, is satisfied with the self, is completely in content with the self alone. Such a person, he is able to finish the work. You should be with yourself. Give yourself the best chance to perform your duty. You see, give 100% of yourself to anything that you do. Such a person is going to be successful. For him, there is no concern for what is done or what is not done, nor does he depend on any being for any object. Such a person is free. Verse 65 says, for the one who is in self-control with himself, is able to guide himself, okay, doesn't need anything else, works through himself, such a person, for him, there is no concern of what is done. He's not worried about what is done. He's not worried about what is not done, nor does he depend on any being or any other object. He's not dependent. He's independent. He sets out, he achieves it. That's how he is. Verse 66. Therefore, without attachment, ever perform work that has to be done. The Purusha achieves the highest good by performing action without attachment. So, without being attached to anything. Okay, not to the past, not to the future, not to the emotions, not to the pleasures, not to the aversions, nothing. Without getting distracted by anything, keeping a single-minded focus on the object that you are supposed to engage with, you perform your action. This is what they're telling here, so that the Purusha achieves the highest good. That's how you can achieve the highest good. Verse 67. For it was by acting alone that Janaka and others achieved success. So King Janaka was a famous king, and he's reminding Arjuna that even King Janaka, because of action, because they acted, they were able to achieve success. So you too must act while keeping an eye to the universal welfare. So you should also act. Okay. You should act with the desire for universal welfare, for the welfare of everybody. Engage in the act. Verse 68. Whatever a great man does, others do the same. Whatever he sets up as a standard, the world, mankind follows. So here Krishna is reminding Arjuna in verse 68 that whatever a great man is going to do, the others are going to follow him. And hence, the responsibility of the great man actually increases. First, you want to achieve greatness. Once you become great, the responsibility has become bigger. Now you have to act according to that greatness, a more responsible role. Whatever he sets up as a standard, the world, that is the mankind, follows. Okay, that's how we have followed every time. The ones who have been great, if they set the right example, the whole generation next follows. You see, I come from India, right? We were a cricketing nation. Not long time back, in 1983, one man and his team, they brought in the World Cup. 1983 changed the course of cricket in India. After that, the great people, they started following all the greatness that this great person had brought. Kapil Dev and his team that brought the World Cup. And today you see, we are one of the most powerful nations. Our generations are producing the greatest of the greatest cricket players. Why is it so? Because there was somebody who was so humble but yet achieved a remarkable feat of winning a World Cup because of single-minded focus. Similarly, many a time, you can even look at Dr. Lim. When he started his journey 30 years ago, he was not so rich. He was financially struggling. He had a lot of responsibilities to educate his brothers, take care of his family, build a house for himself, for his mother, father. So much difficult times. So much so that I remember doctor telling that they did not have money. that even the bankers used to come and they have taken away the father's car. So this is just 35 years back. So a life after 30 years transforming to so much abundance is only because after that there was nothing left for Dr. Lim, only DXN. And when he lived with that focus, he achieved DXN to what it is today. And through that, he is actually doing welfare for the society. Okay, he is able to set an example for others to follow. Verse 69. If I did not perform action, giving up, idleness, people all around would follow my path or path. You see, when you are the one who is responsible for the act, if you only don't do you think others are going to follow? Why is he reminding? Krishna is reminding that you are the head of the army. You are the main person. Everybody is relying on you. You are giving your bow and arrow and telling you cannot fight and all the emotion. Do you think the million people standing behind to fight for you, for the cause, they are going to fight? No. They are also going to go home. Seeing you in this situation, everybody is going to be demotivated. Everybody is going to go back. Hence, a leader's job is to lead by example, by friend, by performing, by actually performing the act, not talking and sitting idle. Okay, so very, very direct instruction to Arjuna by Krishna. Perform your act so that the others can follow your act. Verse 70. If I did not perform action, these worlds would fall in ruin, and I would be the cause of disordered life and destruction of these people. And Krishna is giving himself as an example. He's saying that if I did not perform action, these worlds would fall in ruin. When I don't do anything and nobody does anything, then the world is just going to be in ruins. Nothing is going to happen. No progress, no evolution is going to happen. And I would be the cause of disordered life and destruction of these people. And because I did not do anything, I would be responsible for disordered life and destruction of these people. So not doing can also set a kind of action, and that would be dangerous. You know, you see a person who has seen somebody murdering somebody, the court, has asked him to be the witness and give a judgment whether you saw your brother killing him. Now, he had seen his brother killing that person, but his brother is his brother, you know. How can he say something? So he decides, if I say something, it will be a lie. So he doesn't want to lie to the court, okay, and he wants to be quiet. So I will not say anything at all. Is that the way? He says, I don't know, okay, and he doesn't want to say anything. Because he did not say anything, you know, somebody's life is going to be destroyed. The judge's decision is going to be affected. Even by him not acting, there were so many wrong acts done. So remember this, your non-action also causes a lot of actions which are then out of control, and don't be the reason for that. So Krishna is giving, if I don't perform my action, the world will get destroyed. Verse 71. Ignorant men perform action from attachment to their work. Learned men should act without any attachment, but with a desire to achieve universal welfare. He's telling about action. Now, in action also, one who is ignorant is going to actually perform the act from attachment to their work. People are there, you know, some ignorant only think about themselves and that's it. But their action is driven by the attachment to the final work. Okay, so that's how they live. Like employees of an organization, they are not worried about the organization as a whole. They are worried about themselves. You know, the ignorance is there that I need to sustain. So they actually do their job. Okay, technically it is not that they are not doing their job. They are just ignorant, right? They are ignorant about the whole world. They are looking at themselves first. They want to take care of their problems, which is right. And they are the ones who are attached to their work. You don't pay them salary, they leave your organization. They are not going to be there for the rest of your life, you know, serving you. Their attachment is to the result that I am giving you 25 days of my time. I need my salary. What happens to the market, what happens to the product is not my outlook. So these are the people who are driven by attachment to the result. While learned men should act without any attachment. When learned people act, they act without any attachment to what I'm getting now. They look at a bigger thing. They look at what they desire to achieve universal welfare. Okay, they don't only earn artha, which the ignorant people earn. We call artha means money or whatever it is. They don't only earn artha, they go for paramartha. They go for the welfare for everyone. So that is how you should be. You should think for the universal welfare and then act without attachment. Verse 72. The wise man should not sow dissension in the minds of the ignorant who are attached to work. Now again, he is reminding a wise man should not sow the dissension in the minds of the ignorant who are attached to work. Rather, he should perform all actions with yukta, excellence, and make others perform them willingly. Perfect quality of a leader for the one who is going to be an idol. What is it? That he should not sow any dissension in the minds of the one who are actually working for attachment. That's fine. But rather what he should do? He should use yukta, that is excellence or smartness or wisdom, and make them perform acts willingly. Somewhere he should help them by talking, showing them the bigger picture, be a good guide so that he can direct them also to Paramartha, from Artha to Paramartha. That's the journey. Though all actions take place as a result of gunas, that is Sattva, Rajas and Tamas of Prakriti, the ignorant man, being overwhelmed by self-consciousness, ahamkara, thinks I am the doer. Now here the ignorance is about thinking that you, that is I am the one who is doing. That happens because ahamkar, that ego comes in. Why does that come? Because actually he doesn't control himself. He's controlled or actually programmed by the gunas of Prakriti. Because Prakriti, as I told you, has particular qualities. The Sattva, the Raja and the Tama are the three qualities. Sattva means the goodness. Okay, that is the acts that give good results. Rajas is where passion comes in, and Tamas means non-action. So all these things, so everything you see, because there is creation, there is sustenance and there is destruction, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, you see everything starts moving. That is the quality of Prakriti. So one who thinks that I am the doer is ignorant. Verse 74. But he who knows the characteristics of the gunas and the tattvas, the 25 elements, and the divisions of their qualities and functions, does not become attached to them. Manifestation of nature, O mighty framed. So here it is very clear that when you are talking about the learned men, the one who sees the tattvas, the gunas and tattvas of Prakriti, and sees the divisions, the qualities and functions of all that, and does not get attached to that, because these tattvas and gunas, they are ever changing, they keep on changing, and does not get attached to them, then he is, O mighty armed one, a learned one. So how is that possible? You see, that's exactly even the Heart Sutra talks about. The Heart Sutra says is Shunya is Rupa and Rupa is Shunya. If you get attached to Rupa, then also problem. If you get attached to Shunya and say there is nothing, that is also a problem. You should realize you should be able to witness both, and based on that you should be able to act. Verse 75. Those who are confused by the functions of the constituents of Prakriti become attached to the works produced by them. He who knows the whole should not upset these dull men who know only a part. See, knowing only little part is actually being ignorant, because you don't know the whole. Okay, but what a learned person should do, he should understand this, that he who knows the whole, who can see the big picture. Now, when I see a big picture, definitely I know the parts as well. But my big picture helps me to see through. This is exactly, if you remember in Shunya, we teach you that ultimately you're creating awareness of the whole body and mind. When you see the whole, then only you will be able to act in parts. So here it is saying that he who knows the whole should not upset these dull men who know only a part. Then also, because you know the whole, you don't even upset the ones who are dull, who only know a part. So again, another quality of a good leader, a leader who sees a big picture. When he has somebody who is taking up a small role, he should not put that that person, belittle him or prove him that he's dull because he only is not understanding the big picture and he's only doing a small part. Don't do that. Don't bring in that ego that you are now the manager. Once upon a time you were the worker. Now you become manager, you know whole, and that person doesn't know anything. So you start showing your attitude to them. Don't do that. Okay. So very, very important that you should know that a learned person does not carry that attitude to discriminate somebody who knows only a part. Those who are confused by the functions of the constituents of Prakriti become attached to the works produced by them. And when you understand Sankhya, you understand the three gunas, you understand the 24 tattvas, you understand the Panch Mahabhut, all those things you understand. You realize these are all the ingredients that make the Prakriti, and you don't get attached to their manifestation because you know that anything can be manifested. Anything can be manifested. The power of manifestation is here. People are talking about how to manifest things. Here it is there in Bhagavad Gita. How can you manifest the Prakriti in the way you want? Is by action. It is very clearly mentioned here. So, here saying that, but the one who is not attached to the fruits of this manifestation is the one who is going to be free. So, you can manifest anything, but do not get attached to that manifestation. Verse 76. Those who do not act according to my teaching, finding fault with it with a fault-finding vision, are to be considered blind to all wisdom, thoughtless and lost. Those who cannot understand my teaching, the teaching of the Sankhya, then who cannot see that everything that is manifested is ever going to change based on condition, such a person is finding fault and has faulty vision, are considered to be blind to all wisdoms. Okay, wisdom again is pragya, and we have been studying the Pragya Paramita Sutra for the ones who can get the eye to see through. So, you understand, those thoughtless and those are lost people who cannot see. Verse 77. Even the man of knowledge acts in accordance with his own nature. All beings act according to their natures. Such being the case, what can restraint or pressure do? You see, we many a time we ask, why do they behave in this particular way? Because that is their nature. I remember somebody, giving a nice example of a monk, who was trying to save a crab, from somewhere. He was stuck somewhere. So he goes to pick the crab up. The crab bites the monk's finger. And his friend asked him, hey, why don't you throw him? It just bit you. You're trying to help it and it's biting you only. He's saying, no. I am acting according to my nature. My nature is to help. It is acting according to its nature to bite. It's okay. Everybody acts according to their nature. Remember this. Okay. So, the most amazing thing, if that is the case, we act according to our nature, then what we have in hand is to change our nature, adding in that conditioning, that programming, so that our nature becomes the basis on which all our acts perform. That is why we say charitra is everything. Your character is everything. When you can build up a character of winning, everything you do will be winning. If you build up a character of failure, everything you do will be failure. If you create a character of happiness, everything you do will be happiness. It's building up that character, your prakriti, your nature. So, even the man of knowledge acts in accordance with his own nature. All beings act according to their natures. Such being the case, what can restraint or pressure do? So, if we are going to act according to our nature, then why try to control it? Why cause pressure to try to control? Because at the end, I'm going to act according to my nature. Attachment and aversion lie awaiting in the sense and its object. To get attached or to not get attached, to discard something or detach from something. These are basically in the sense itself. Sweet has got another thing, if you take sweet, after some time you will get attached to it, you will want it. That's within the sweetness itself. Bitterness, after some time, if you're not used to it, bitterness has the basic tendency of aversion, you don't want it. Based on your nature, you will have your liking and disliking, but where does the seed of that remain? It remains in the senses and the object. A man should not be carried away by this affection and repulsion, for they are his two enemies. Now he is reminding that there are two enemies. Which are these two enemies? These enemies means carried away by getting liking to something or not liking to something, affection to something or repulsion to something. Okay, that means craving for something and dislike for something. So these two are the two enemies. One has to not be in that mode. Verse 79. Better is one's own duty, even when imperfectly done, than another's duty well performed. Better is death in one's duty. The duty of another is fraught with fear productive of danger. Now here is telling about doing one's duty. Don't do others' duty, Do what you have been given to do. You have been, see, your duty, we said, was given because you're obliged to do that, because you're given that position. Second, it has come as niyati to you, as an obligation to you. You have to do your duty. Don't think. And don't do others' duty. You do your duty, because that is more important. Even though it is imperfectly done, you do your duty. Better is death in one's duty. Even if you die doing your duty, that is much better than the duty of somebody else, because that fear that comes in because you're doing somebody else's duty, that becomes a problem. Verse 80. Just as fire is covered by smoke, or mirror by dust, or the embryo is covered by the caul, so this wisdom is covered by that passion. So here they're talking about how wisdom is covered by passion. Everybody has wisdom. Everybody can see, but the passion, the desire to want something or not want something is actually covering their ultimate wisdom that they have. And this is exactly like, the fire is covered by smoke, the mirror is covered by dust, cannot reflect exactly what it is, or an embryo is covered by the casts. We call the covering of the embryo. So these are all, they cover up the real essence, and our real essence is also covered up by passion. Verse 81, last 4 verses to go. O Kaunteya, Arjuna, wisdom is covered by this insatiable flame of passion, Kama Rupen, which is the constant foe of the wise. People who are wise, their only enemy is what? This passion, Kama Rupen. It's the insatiable flame of passion that actually becomes the enemy or the foe of the one who is wise. So watch over this enemy, Arjuna. He's telling this, Arjuna, forget this whole army of enemy. The one that is already destroying you and killing you before they kill you is this particular passion that you're suddenly having of emotion and all those things. This flame of not wanting to do something, wanting to do something. This basic thing is actually destroying you even before the great war destroys you. Verse 83, no? Okay. 82. The senses, the mind and the intellect are said to be its seat. Though it obscures knowledge and dilutes his wisdom. So how is knowledge gone or obscured? How is wisdom turned into delusion? Is when the person actually is in that frame of mind where he is having this insatiable flame of passion, Kama Rupen, okay, and he's covered by that. His senses, the mind, the intellect, they all are the seat where this particular thing, is there, are said to be its seat. What seat? The seat of passion. Passion can go in your senses, passion can go in your mind, passion can go in your intellect, and all these three can be completely destroyed or completely misrepresented from its original self, like the smoke that covers the fire. Your senses, your mind and the intellect, they can all three be covered with passion. So remember this, do not let your senses, your mind and intellect be attached or detached to things. Let it be free so that you look at things as it is, and then let all three, because they three need to work together. That is yoga. They need to work together to see what the situation is and act accordingly. That is wisdom. Verse 83. The senses, they say, are superior to their objects. Okay, senses are superior to the objects. Higher than the senses is the mind. Higher than the mind is the buddhi, intellect. But higher even than the intellect is the Purusha, the self or the supreme consciousness. Now, here is, when you look at the chariot, a very beautiful example. You see the senses, they say they are superior to their objects. Okay, now the horse, the horse is an object, but the horses can be controlled through senses. Okay, because you can sense the horse where he is going when you have the reins. So your reins are actually superior than the objects. Through this reins you can control the horses. Okay, higher than the horses reins, the horses and the rein, higher than that is the senses, is the mind, that is the charioteer. The charioteer is the one, is like the mind. He is stronger because he can control the reins. Through the reins he can control the horses. Higher than the mind is the buddhi, intellect. Higher than the charioteer is the one who is actually riding the chariot, the one who is saying, So intellect is higher than the mind. But higher than even that intellect is Purusha, which actually encompasses everything else, the supreme consciousness. One should realize this. And one who realizes this actually performs his action. That's it. Verse 84. Thus, knowing the Purusha, which is higher than the buddhi, and controlling the self by the self, O mighty armed, destroy this enemy which, like passion, Kama Rupen, is difficult to conquer. Now he is giving his conclusion in the 84th verse. He is saying, hey, Arjuna, knowing that there is supreme consciousness, which is higher than or even your intellect. Beyond you, there is something much bigger. Okay, don't think you are the final doer of things. You are the one who is killing them. Sorry. Beyond you also there is something which is much more supreme. And that Purusha, that supreme consciousness which is watching over things, that is something that is going to be controlled by controlling the self. O mighty armed one, he is reminding him, you are the mighty armed one. You are the best of the warriors. Destroy this enemy. Do your duty. Destroy this enemy which, like passion, because this enemy like passion is difficult to conquer. Okay, because even you are not able to conquer your passion, your emotions. You are a mighty armed one, and you are now in this situation. You are giving up your bow and arrow. You can imagine this army that you are seeing is much more difficult than this passion that you are trying to win over. I have helped you to win over this passion by having a conversation, but this fight is yours. You will have to fight it yourself. Remember, Krishna never picked up any arm. He was not fighting. He was just a charioteer for Arjuna. Arjuna had to fight himself. In life, we have to do our duties, Don't expect some godlike figure to come and help us. You have to be your own helping hand. You have to help yourself. Okay, in this sea that we are drowning in suffering, we need to learn swimming ourselves. Nobody is going to come and swim for us. Nobody is going to do that. That is why even Buddha said, Apo Dipo Bhava, be your own light. Nobody is going to light you. Remember this. So we have to take responsibility of all the responsibilities that we have been given. And the way we do that is by performing action. Know what role you have. Know what you're obliged to do. Know what obligations you have. And make sure you perform acts. If you're already started a family, make sure your family becomes your responsibility. Make sure you raise up a good family. Maybe you have a child. Give the child what is needed, the best sanskara, the best of things so that he can experience this world in its fullest. If you are an employee, perform to the fullest of the capacity, even though you're a part of the whole picture that the entrepreneur has seen to transform the world. You as a part are still doing a job. Okay. And when you can do that, you will be able to contribute more as an employee too, so that the vision of the entrepreneur is fulfilled. You as a leader, having a team, a network, make sure you set an example so that others can follow. If you become the guy, the snobbish guy, the irritating guy, not able to do, you will have everybody follow you like that. People remember the one who are not learned, they act through their passion. The passion is they like something or they dislike something. In dislike, they go away. In like, they come to you. Remember, you need to know that there are unlearned people who do not understand this, and then you need to act wisely. Okay, yukta. Yukta means smartness, yukti. With smartness, with wisdom, you act so that everybody like you, stay with you, work for you, so that you are able to do bigger things in this world. Okay, this brings us to the end of the 84 verses of the Bhagavad Gita, which has basically Bhagavat means Buddha is called Bhagwan, and we have heard this word Bhagwan in many of the sutras that we learned, the Diamond Sutra and other sutras also. So Bhagavat means the one who follows the teachings of the Bhagwan, means one who is cultivating wisdom, one who is trying to see the world as it is. Okay, so this is the song. If you understand this song, you take home the message that I will do my duty. I will do my duty without any attachment to the result. It doesn't mean you don't expect a result. It means I will not fantasize the outcome of my action before the action is done. Okay, I will not dream. I might manifest my dreams through action. By sitting and only dreaming, you will never be able to manifest any of your dreams. So set out in this life with a dream, with something that you want to achieve. Engage all your senses, have self-control, get your mind to be stable so that the acts will be good, and then act. Act so that you can fulfill what you have set out for. And that's the journey of that Bhagavad Gita teaches us. Listening to this verse of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is super motivated. Thanks Krishna for giving him this great piece of advice that how he as a warrior should go back to doing his duty. He takes up his Gandiva back in his hand, loads his Gandiva with the arrow and starts his journey. And then we all know how the Pandavas win because of the great might of Arjuna. And in India, Arjuna is still symbolic of focus and attention. And how he, who actually does that, we say that he is like Arjuna. So we all should be focused and attentive in our journey in this war that we are fighting against all the evils. And you see, Krishna has given an example that even the passion that you are talking about, it is so difficult to conquer. The world outside is much more difficult to conquer. Okay, so conquer this self-conflicting world of yours first, so that you are able to win over the world outside. The world is not too goody-goody. It's very tough to live. The world is not going to be easy. Who said it is easy? Nobody said. So, because it is not easy, prepare yourself for war. Make sure that your single-pointedness, your attentiveness, your focus is what helps you to achieve union with what you set out for. And that is true yoga. Okay, so this brings us to the end. So thank you so much for listening. See you again next week.